All right, we are here with Maria Pakar for the Q&A panel of Asian American artists. As with every interview, I like to start off with learning a little bit about Maria, and I know a lot about her, but I know that you don't. So we're going to start off with a very interesting and fun fact. You used to be a professional dancer, which I did not
Right.
know recently. So tell me a bit about making a transition from dancing to filmmaking, and do you ever get to do that now?
My transition between being a professional dancer and filmmaking was
Yes.
kind of easy
Really?
because yeah, because I started acting and in choreography and in dance, there is an acting element to some of your presentations as a dancer. You have to be able to let the audience know that you have these emotions that can make them feel their emotions as well. So
Sure.
it was really not a hard transition because I started working in voiceover. I wanted to be a character voice. I started taking voiceover classes. And my friend said, "Are you nuts? Are you taking voiceover and you're dancing at the same time?" Yeah,
Yeah.
so what? Right? And
Yeah.
so that's how I got into acting. And then that's how I got into filmmaking from there because I saw there was a lot of sets where there was not a lot of people that look like me, you know? And I went, well, I could solve that problem. I can start my own production company. And there an Asian Mainstream Productions was born.
There you go. That's an interesting question that I want to ask you because there are all sorts of ethnic groups that we're not finding on sets per se. So if somebody watches this interview, is a filmmaker, director, or even budding filmmaker, how would you suggest the easiest way for them to make their set more diverse?
To make their set more diverse, I think they need to just contact acting groups or, volunteers that work with ethnic groups. Like for me, Filipinos are like the silent minority.
Hmm.
So it was easy for me to connect with other Filipinos since I am Filipino
Hmm.
and get other Asians involved because there's so many talented Asian Americans out there that people don't, you know, give a hoot about because sometimes they don't look like everyday people. Sometimes they're just very basic looking, very plain looking. As my friend said, Melanie, she said, maybe I'm too Asian or I'm not Asian enough. So, you know, yeah. So that's what I would do.
Well, and the other thing that I want to talk about is that clearly you're female and you've directed before as well as writing, and you've also done some very personal projects. So asking you, stepping into that ring where you are very close to or parallel to your own vulnerabilities, how would you suggest others taking on projects like that approach it to where they are keeping mentally sound?
It's kind of hard sometimes to separate yourself from a project that you're really personally attached to, but sometimes you have to do it to get the best results. I find that, I have to separate my director's hat from my say I do a film like Silent Voices, where it's a documentary and it's on my grandkids or something like that.
Yeah.
I have to separate myself from being their grandmother and then also being the director
Yeah.
because then I'm not going to get a great project. And then everybody's going to say, well, you're biased because those are your grandkids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I want to be fair in the fact that they do have a special education issue, like my grandson does. But at the same time, I want to make sure that people know that, you know, there are problems that exist with kids like this, and that I wanted to show that. And then
Yeah.
with Asian American artists, I also wanted to show that there are talented artists that I'm close to too, that are Asian American,
Mhm.
and that I want to make them more the not the invisible minority, but more the visible minority.
You want people to be seen. I can
That's
relate to
right.
that. That is a great, great, great analogy, actually.
Yeah.
Um, 2005, you started Asian Mainstream Productions. So, if you could, please give a short synopsis of what sorts of projects you provide, and moving forward, what would you like to see happen in 2025 with your production company?
Well, Asian Mainstream started as I was talking about when I was on sets, when I started acting, I started seeing people that were not like me, and I was like the only person of color there, and I was like, well, this has to change. In 2005, it was changing. It
Mhm.
was slowly evolving because now that you look at the market, there's a lot more Asian American actors and there's a lot more people of color on TV and on screen and all that.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to do with Asian mainstream is make these people more visible, but at the same time give them the opportunity to know that there's a chance for them in this business. And just because they don't look like the pretty person or the person that is a model or something like that, that they can actually have a place in this business.
Yeah.
And moving forward, I want Asian mainstream to be able to distribute some of their films
Yes.
and have more of a visible presence, in the media.
You betcha. I once read an interview that you did, and one of the things that you stressed that was important to you is to learn how to be a doer. So please explain to everybody what that it means in your terminology.
To be a doer, I've always been a doer. I'm not the type of person that sits back and just lets things happen. I just want to be in there and
Sure.
helping things along. And I used to be an event manager, event producer, and I used to do a lot of events in my neighborhood. And I found that helped me as a director and as a producer because everybody says, well, you like to get in there and put your hands in there and get dirty. And I said, yeah, because you just can't sit back. And if somebody's not going to do it, then you're going to have to do it,
Yeah.
because you just can't let a project go to the wayside because there's not enough people. And I'm used to working with small crews where we do all different things. Like one day I'll be the director, but I'll also be the makeup person, and or I'll also be the screenwriter, or
Sure.
we all take different hats, but it's a good way to learn too about the business
Oh, yeah.
because people don't get it. They don't understand that, you can't do everything by yourself, but at the same time, you know, there needs to be people that are willing to get in there and like help out. And that's what it's about. It's a team effort. It's not just you
Oh,
doing it by
yeah.
yourself.
100%. Filmmaking is all about that, like 100% team, and everybody is vital and important and necessary, of course.
Hmm.
Um, I saw also you used to be a yoga teacher, which I did not know. So that's interesting. I'm like, okay, so being a yoga teacher, I've been told 100 times over it's a great way to release stress. And I imagine being a director and being on a set, oh my God, that's going to be so intensely stressful. So again, do you utilize yoga, and would you recommend it for your fellow artisans?
Oh, 100%. I would recommend it for anybody because I have a blog that I've been working on called Yoga for All.
Nice.
And it just talks about how yoga is for everybody. It's not just for the person that's skinny or flexible or doesn't know about yoga at all. It's for everybody because I've taught little kids up to adults to seniors actually, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm teaching seniors too.
Cool.
But the thing is that I do sometimes on sets is before we shoot, I get everybody in a circle and we hold hands, we breathe, we do a little meditation, and we talk about let's do this together. We're in this together. It's going to be a great shoot because we're all like unified right now, and that helps us get through the day. And we break hands and we go, okay, yay, everybody's going to work together. And and it's just about breathing. When you get really stressed, you need to breathe.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yoga is a lot about breathing.
Absolutely. You betcha. And
Yeah.
alternatively, on the flip side of the fence, I saw that you've done fundraising in the past. And of course, anybody who's done a film before realizes that it's all about fundraising 24/7 all the time.
Oh
So
my
I'm
God.
always asking for the best go-to tip in terms of if anybody watches this and they're trying to figure out how to be creative about getting money for a film, what does that answer look like?
Okay, so everybody does the basic, what, Indiegogo,
Yep.
Kickstarter, GoFundMe, that kind of stuff. But I try to I have a support system
Ah,
of people
yes.
that really, really believe in what I do. And so personal emails are one thing. And they always tend to give me, okay, what are you doing now? Okay, I'll give you money because I know you're good and I know
Oh,
that you care.
cool.
Yeah, so that's one thing. And then I was just talking to Stephanie, who's like my co-producer on Borderline,
Yep.
and she's also my executive director for her new nonprofit, CAMS, which is Coalition of Artists and Mental Health Storytellers.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling her yesterday that cause marketing, you go into you go, say you go to a Blaze Pizza or something and you make it like a night where everybody comes in and they buy food and they eat dinner, but percentages of that go toward your
Oh,
cause.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do stuff like that too. And I've been known to do fundraisers with my husband because he's a great cook. We do
Aw.
a thing called a slider fundraiser, where we make all these little sliders, different kinds, like beef
Yes.
and chicken and salmon. And we charge people for them, you know. They get a whole meal though. They get a whole meal. They get dessert, you know, because
That's
I do
cool.
them. Yeah. And we do that. And then we also do we'll do events, you know, like little trailer events where we'll show the trailer and we'll talk about our organization and we get
Okay.
some money that way.
Very
So
nice.
yeah.
Nice. I don't want to forget to talk about this. I realized that you Moonlight Comedy Productions. Tell me about that.
Well, Moonlight Comedy Productions is kind of on hold right now, but
No.
yeah, because the partner that I'm working with, Hope Lopez, she's had some medical issues lately.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so she's a young girl from LA and she's
Mm.
very passionate about this project. And we got together because a friend of ours said, "You two would be great to do this project because I'm not going to be able to do it anymore." Because Sean Hilton, he had some medical issues himself.
Oh gosh.
So he said, "You two take this project and you make it what you want to make out of it." But his
Yeah.
whole concept was like a Saturday Night Live kind of show where it would be like sketch comedy, you would have musical entertainment, you would have like interviews with up and coming artists in the Bay
Sure.
Area or LA or wherever. And that's what Moonlight Comedy is about. So we're going to get back on track and get it together. But I think it's going to be cool because it'll show a lot of up and coming artists and what they can do.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you for that. Now,
Yeah.
you were here once again. Maria is a return visitor to the Artist Live Film Festival, which we always love repeat business. And I'm so excited that she came back. She is the writer and director of a project called Asian American Artists, 17-minute long project completed originally in February of 2023. So I want to talk a bit about the budget. Budget is about $2,000 or so. So tell me, with a budget like that, because some people might say, gosh, it's almost nothing. Although I've seen some people do a film with 100 or 200 or maybe even no money. So
hmm
if I were to ask you for a typical short film project you do, what do you think is a nice starting base budget for somebody?
I think about $1,000 to $2,000.
Really?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I've been known to do films on shoestring budgets. I mean,
Yes.
ask me, I'm the shoestring budget queen. You know, I'll find ways to like have people, you owe me a favor. Okay, sure. You can
Yeah.
come and do something for me and I can give you a producer credit. You
Yes.
know, stuff like that. I've learned to use and in fundraising, you used to use, you're used to doing tit for tat, in other words, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, you do me a favor, I'll do you a favor. I'll put you on my film. And
Yes.
that is one way that I do things. I learned to call in my favors, and I've gotten um, rental space that way for free.
Okay.
You know, I've gotten food like, well, give me some of your food and I'll put you on the credit as, like catering. I'm just the queen of like finding like
Bargaining.
bargaining.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm queen of bargaining. So I think $1,000 is a great place to start. And people might say, "Oh God, that's so low. That's so
Right.
low." But you know what? If you know how to work your budget and you know how to work and you have the same people that you work with all the time and they know how
Yeah.
you work, I want to pay everybody on my team. That's my thing.
Nice.
I'll pay the crew, I'll pay the cast. I don't get paid personally, but I like to see other people get paid
Yep.
and for their work. And I know what it is to work on a film set because I do it all the time, but I just feel like I'm the last person to get paid, okay? So fine, I don't care. It's because I love to do it.
Absolutely. Most of us love to do that, but that's great advice too. I mean, bargaining is always helpful, knowing people with locations, the food thing, transportation, all that good stuff.
Yes.
That's right, folks. We bargain and we beg and lots of favors, etc. That's how that works. Um,
Yes.
your film centers around a number of different artisans who happen to be Asian American. So
Mhm.
I guess one of my biggest questions was because there's so many of them, how do you narrow it down to I'm selecting only these folks to be part of this project?
Well, it's so funny you say that because I put on a post on Facebook under Asian American Hustle,
Okay.
And I got a lot of people that responded to me. They want to be this film, they want to do an interview.
Sure.
And I had maybe like 20 or 25 people that said they wanted to do it. And so when the time came for me, like, okay, so what's your schedule like? When are you going to be available
Yeah.
for me to do your interview? A lot of it was done on Zoom. A
Yeah.
lot of it was done on people's phones.
Yep.
And a lot of it was done, because some of them are filmmakers themselves, so they set up their own stuff and
Oh, right.
filmed their stuff and gave it to me. But by the time I was ready to do their interviews, some of them disappeared, So it was like, okay, I guess you don't really want to be in this
Right.
film. If you're not going to answer me,
Right.
you're going to ghost me, okay?
Absolutely.
So yeah, so that's why I ended up with 12 people. And I wanted to make sure that they were from different regions, most of them, because
Sure.
what I want to do eventually is like do kind of a web series of Asian American artists from different regions of the country.
That makes sense. I do. One of the neat parts about the film is I noticed that you do point out all of their similarities, but yet the differences that are involved with each of their, not only creatively, professionally, but also mentally. I think there's a mindset that each one of them has that varies a little bit as far as that goes. Did you look to find people that were divertly so very same and different? Meaning, was there a screening or vetting process once they said yes?
Yeah, there was a little bit of a like a pre-interview process, and I had questions for them that I had conjured up, and I said, okay, just answer these questions, and then if I want to go on with the interview, I'll just have it go on a little longer. But I
Sure.
wanted them to mainly talk about themselves and what they went through as artists to be where they are now, because a lot of them said, well, there's a couple of them that said that they really didn't have any mentors growing up,
Ah,
especially the guy that did cartoon like the Frugly Dumpling, Justin Leong.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like a comic book, digital comic book artist. And he said, I wish there was somebody that I could have modeled growing up, because
Hmm.
I just kind of went into this business blind because I
Yeah.
wanted to do it. And so Matt Manalo too, the guy from Texas, the artist from Texas,
Hmm.
did the same thing. I wish there was more mentors that were of Asian American that could have helped me out too. But he
I
managed to start his own nonprofit and of artists in the Texas, the Houston area.
hmm.
So he's doing very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you set out to do the film, was it your focus that yes, I want to put XYZ amount of people in a room and get them noticed, or was it all about getting Asians and Asian artists in particular noticed? What was the main focal point for you here?
The main focal point was to get Asian Americans noticed, Asian
Aha,
American artists noticed.
I get you.
Yeah, like I was saying before, there's so many talented ones that don't have a venue, don't have a vehicle for them to
Right.
get seen. So I thought this was a great way to do it.
Oh, you betcha. The other thing too is I noticed that you guys got a chance to really talk about the struggles that go on with it. I think a lot of us all have this artisan spirit and we're always excited and great, we're going on a set. And we don't really think about the fact that there are struggles to this, or when you're writing a book or when you're doing something creative, it isn't just magic all of the time, and that there are tons of hurdles financially, psychologically, sometimes it can be very, very challenging. I also noticed that the majority of the folks that you picked were younger and not more mature. So I was curious about that. Was there a reason why you didn't want mature artists in here?
I picked artists that were of the younger generation because I wanted to show people the next generation up and coming
Ah,
Asian
gotcha.
American artists.
Okay.
And the fact that some of them did go through a lot of struggles to get where they were. A lot of it were parental issues, like
Uh-huh.
like with Kelvin, for instance, Kelvin Dangtrain. He's a
Yep.
cosplay artist and a dancer. He was like, "Oh, my parents did not like me doing this. They were
Yeah.
like, oh, no, 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 you need to go to med school or whatever, dental school or be a
Sure.
lawyer." And a lot of parents do that, but I think it's more prominent in the Asian American community because they want them to succeed professionally, and
Yeah.
they know that sometimes being an artist doesn't make any money. So,
Artist. Yeah.
yes, artist. So Kelvin was like, he was going to all these cosplay conventions and stuff, and his
Sure.
parents were like, "Well, when are you going to stop doing this?" He goes, I don't know." And they kept saying, "Well, he's still doing it, and he's not stopping."
And that's
So
important too. I think one of the main themes that comes out of this film is the fact that even though there are challenges and we look at each other differently, that doesn't mean that we should get discouraged. It doesn't mean we should give up. It also doesn't mean that we shouldn't try to collaborate with each other or find creative ways to get our name out there or get ourselves to be seen. The film
right.
is a nice starting point, but most artists, even when they get that blurb of attention, we still have to get out there and we still have to make it happen on our own, which is super
Yeah.
important, of course. Now,
Yes.
17 minutes isn't a lot to display the work and the views of a bunch of individuals on that Zoom or on that phone. So why 17 minutes? Why not a feature film?
Um, I felt that it was just going to be like a starting point, like a taste of something
Sure.
that could be even bigger. So that's why I didn't want to do a feature film. I
Okay.
wanted it to be just a smattering of these artists and just showing them what they're capable of and what they do, you know, as artists. But yeah, I was thinking of that as a feature film maybe in the future.
Ah, nice. And you also talked about the potential of a web series, right? Where you'd be
Mhm.
doing other individuals.
Yes, I was there's a couple of individuals that didn't get into the film that actually did contact me after
Ah, okay.
the film and said, "Well, are you still looking for interviews?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm done, but I still can, like do." There was a dancer in I think she was in the South somewhere that she wanted to be interviewed, and I said,
Sure.
"Okay, well, I'll have to get back to you on that."
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, she was a professional dancer, like ballet dancer and teacher. And I
Ah,
said, that's really cool. So I told her if I ever do something like this again, I'll get back to you. But yeah, I would like to do some more things with different artists in different regions. Like I was saying, like
yeah.
maybe do something with Pacific Northwest, maybe do something with the South, maybe do something with North, the East
That'd be
Coast.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. I am
yeah.
also curious to ask you, did the parents see the end result?
Some of their parents did, and
Okay.
some of their parents were like, "Oh, okay, so this is what you're doing, right? Besides, I hope besides going to school."
Ah, gotcha. I was just curious on the response, because not
Yeah.
every parent is all jumping up for joy, like you said, and they're like terrified they're not going to make any money and they don't have any direction. And totally, totally get that. I do. Um, so the audience response so far, obviously, I know I was at ours live when I saw it, so the response was very favorable. Have you gotten any good feedback, or what have you heard about your film thus far?
I heard that it was great to do something like this
Okay.
because it's kind of different to showcase all these artists in one short film. And so they were asking me, so what else are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
It's like the main response. And I was like, yeah, I really do want to do some kind of web series with it. I'm looking to work on that. Well, I'm looking for some more money, first of all.
Aren't we all? I mean, that's the bottom line. We have a great idea, but we need money. Totally get
Mhm.
that. I do.
But like I said, I've done this film for like what, $2,000.
Yeah.
So
So it's not a ton,
no, it's not a ton, but
It's
I could
lower end.
actually, yeah, work on it for 2025 at least.
There you go. Which reminds me, 2025 in February, the film will be not playing in 2024 anymore, and it's in New York in February, correct? 2025?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it into the North Film Festival.
Nice. And that'll be in New York City, of course. So if I were to ask what's up next for Maria, what's going on? What's your next project?
Oh,
What are you working on? Because there's
well,
something.
I've been working on this project for 4 years. It's my passion project. It's a feature film called Soap Operas for Seniors.
Oh, this sounds so
And
cool.
it's an anthology. It is
Okay.
an anthology, 5 different stories. It's a comedy. It's how seniors navigate the internet, how they handle retirement, how they handle extended families.
Sure.
It's just all these little things that seniors have to deal with. How would they handle retirement? Um, what they do after that. So it's comedy, little comedy shorts that make up this
Yes.
one feature film.
Nice.
So I'm almost done with it. I've been working on it since 2021.
Okay. I
And I'm
gotcha.
almost done with it. So I'm excited to put it out because when I say the title, people just go, "What?" Because first of all, I thought there's really nothing for seniors,
Right. I
you
agree.
know? Yeah. So there's the market right there.
Hmm.
Second of all, the stories are just like these crazy situations that seniors put themselves in,
Yes.
like dating, dating on the internet is one of them. And you know, just the way things go these days. They're not used to working computers or, handling retirement, or what
Yes.
do I do after I retire? Do I sit around and do nothing, or do I do something else? That kind of stuff. So,
Ah, very nice. Also, if folks want to see Shrink Spotlight or Still Life or any of your other productions, can they see them at all anywhere yet?
yes, well, not totally yet because a lot of them are in film festivals.
Yes.
So I can't put the links out there, but yeah, I will have some previews coming up to show people
Deal.
on the website.
Wonderful. And if people want to find you on social media, where do they do that besides Facebook?
Facebook, I'm on Instagram, Asian Mainstream '05, and then I have LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm on LinkedIn as well.
And do we use the two names or the three names?
You just use well, you can use either one usually, but it'll pop up. Maria
Yeah.
Bay Picard or Maria
Yes.
Picard.
Absolutely. Now, I didn't want to forget to ask this last question. Most of you don't know this, and I found this out recently, but this lovely lady listed me as one of the most interesting people she knows. So I have to ask, why did you list me for that?
Well, Cindy, I've known you for how long now?
A
Let's see,
while.
5, 6 years
Yeah.
now. And you are a very interesting person. You do so much for the film community, for one thing. You're so giving for all us filmmakers that, filmmakers want to come back and be part
Yeah.
of your festival.
Yes, they do.
Something that nobody really else does. I'm really serious. I mean, I've been to some other film festivals, and it's like
Sure.
you really do care about the filmmaker. So you're a very interesting person.
Look at this. Cindy's a very interesting person, almost as interesting as Maria Picard. It's Asian American artist, still life, shrink spotlight. There's like borderline, there's like a million projects. So go check her out, go follow her, go to New York in February to go see her. Just contact her because she's all sorts of wonderful. So thank you
Oh,
again for another wonderful interview, Maria. I
oh,
appreciate
you're welcome. You're so welcome. I just love talking to you. So,
Oh,